5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thank you for being with us. We are supposed to be live on CKLU 96.7 FM. Yesterday, though, I noticed there was no signal on my drive back from work, and Billy said he didn't hear the show yesterday in the morning, so I don't know if the signal is up or not. So if you are listening to us on CKLU, welcome. And it's great that the signal is indeed up or back up, however we want to look at it. So again, thanks for being with us. Welcome. And also we're live on streaming for sure, cklu.ca. You can definitely catch us that way. And just click on the Radio Player Canada app logo, and you can download it as well, not just stream it, but you can download that same Radio Player Canada app and take us with you and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. So, if you're having a hard time waking up, this is a great wake up for you in the morning, just to kind of have either in the background or in the foreground. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, and all that great stuff, because we are live on Facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube.com/Sudbury News for the time being, until possibly, just like any other great show out there, or trying to be a great show. There's powers that be in the background, possibly trying to shut certain voices down, is what I'm seeing out there in the ecosphere, in the media ecosphere. So let's just, while we're up, and we'll just do the best we can, and that's all we can do. So with that, good morning, David. Thanks for being with us. Stay safe. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Monique. Good morning. Hope you're having a great day as well. Belinda, sunshine, so good for the soul. Yeah. And I thought the weather was all doom and gloom, and then here you go. We got some nice sun, so I'm not going to complain. Good morning, good sir. Well, same to you, Shane. Appreciate you being on. Hope you're having a great Thursday morning. Judy as well, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Claire, good morning. All capital letters. Wow, for sure. I'm not having such a great morning. I'm having kind of a not so great morning. First of all, starting with some technology issues here in the studio, and then more technology issues in the studio. One with software, and then one with a platform, a social media platform that just kind of seemed to change things for us. And when you're not ready for a change, you're not ready for a change. So when you only have so much time in the morning to prepare for a show, it can really take you for a loop, because you're already running on borrowed time. And if it eats up 10 minutes of your time, well, that's 10 minutes of your time you'll never get back ever again. But this is a volunteer show on a volunteer station, totally funded by ourselves. Yes, and the microphone was purchased by myself, the TV behind me purchased by myself, the software purchased by myself. And but we are coming at you remotely over the internet and live on CKLU on the radio. We're not coming from those studios, but those studios are located in the MacEwan School of Architecture in the old Telegraph building, which is now all part of Laurentian University. This is your campus and community radio station, been around since 1984, and totally volunteer run. There's very few paid positions. If anything, it's run on a shoestring budget, and it relies on your donations. So whatever you're able to give, you go to cklu.ca and you basically make a donation for whatever you think you can afford and what it's worth. So we really appreciate you. And if you want to keep local people on who volunteer and just that local voice going, you yourself could have a show. All you do is email gm@cklu.ca and you could have your own show right here. So it's pretty cool. It's you got to keep it going. And speaking of keeping it going and pretty cool, co-host this morning, Billy, as usual, on Thursdays. How you doing this morning, Billy?
I'm doing, I think, probably a hair better than you.
I think you are. Yeah.
Well, you've got the heavy lifting. I just kind of sit here and scroll through the news.
I don't know. You got the camera going this morning. Usually I try to get that as well, but definitely no time. What happens is I do the research for the show, whatever the themes are, the stories of the day, and try and get some stories, whether it's a video or other news stories that go along with it in my limited time. And so I would share a video that would sum up what, better than I could, the situation, and share it to my email, and then open it up in my email, and there's the video. I get it all ready in the screen and ready to go. But Facebook changed something overnight, I guess, because yesterday it was working where you share the link and then the video comes up, right? Because that's what links do. They go to what you share a link and then you open the link later and it's the actual thing you shared. But what they're doing now is they're just giving a general, the link just goes to a general feed, like the video feed for Facebook in general, not the actual video that I shared. So I don't know what's going on there. That's bizarre. It wouldn't be the first time that something, seemed bizarre that a social media platform just kind of seemed to do on the fly. Okay. So hopefully we're back up and running now, and hopefully I solved the problem. That's what I did last time, and we'll see if that works today. So if we're back, let us know in the comments. We really appreciate that. But anyways, 17 viewers down to 3. That ought to do her. So, okay. Hopefully we're back, everyone. If you can let us know in the comments and if we are indeed back. You're freezing. That's Judy. So, okay. You're back. Okay. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that. So that's the second time this week that happened. That happened also, I believe, on Monday, where it just says connection server error. First time that's ever happened, ever, after a year and some. And then the second time, the same week. So it does seem like there's a bit of stuff going on out there. I don't know, just being, and then I'm hearing it from other independent journalists. I'm like, as, I guess, small time as they come, just a community radio station in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, population 170,000, just started a year ago, really. People already know, like, look, you're not the real deal, things like that. The haters coming on saying that. And so I don't know what it's doing anyways, but we seem to be, I hear from people that are bigger, that are voices for, the anti-establishment, let's say, or giving another point of view other than what's comes through in mainstream media. And they're saying that they're encountering all types of problems on their social media platforms. They're not being shared. It's not working the way that it's supposed to. And it does work for other things. Like if you want to share funny cat videos, no problem whatsoever. And but if you want to give, if you're not in favor of the war in Ukraine, let's say, and you think that it's just a way to make money for the military industrial complex, or you say that maybe Pfizer became extremely wealthy over, just what we came through the last 3 years. Say things like that, well, then they just shut you right down. So that's what it seems. And people who are saying those things are saying that they're having a hard time on social media. So I really don't think they care about me whatsoever. So I can't really see that being the case, but it almost seems if I was one of these voices that were speaking to a bigger audience, I definitely would be saying, yeah, I can see that for me as well. I just don't think, such a small fish in such a small pond. I really don't think they care about what I'm saying. So my good friend, So many comments coming in. I want to get some people that are checking in. Good morning, Tracy. Thanks for being with us. We're back up in our viewer count, at least almost what we were. And Dave says, we aren't thinking it is that. See what happens. Okay. How about we just get into some weather? How about that? And then maybe the weather, won't get stuck in some algorithm or whatever, cause any kind of censorship. Hopefully not. Anyways, we'll be back right after this. Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Currently it is -1 degree, but it feels like -5 out there, or minus for some of you who prefer minus rather than negative. I'm going to say minus, yeah, because negative kind of goes in line with how I'm feeling today. I don't want to kind of make that any more than what it is. Today, a mix of sun and cloud. Thank you very much for that. Love the sun, by the way. So all those in charge of the weather, thank you very much. Keep it coming. 40% chance of showers, though, late this afternoon. Fog patches will be dissipating by this morning. The wind will be 20 kilometers early this afternoon. The high of 8. Tonight, cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. And then Friday, mix of sun and cloud, 30% chance of showers. Early this morning, high of 16. There you go. I don't have a mouse for this, so have to remember that. But look how bleak. Look, I'm just going to share this full screen. So this is, again, when you're feeling negative already, this doesn't help anything whatsoever. And if you're on the radio, and if the radio is actually working today, all the icons show rain. And then just on Sunday, you can see a little bit of the rays of the sun coming out of a cloud that's raining. So it doesn't look all that promising this week. Friday, again, high of 16, 30% chance of showers. Saturday, periods of rain. Oh, and yesterday, that was mix of sun and cloud, by the way. Yesterday said that Friday would be a mix of sun and cloud. But I guess 30% chance of rain means 70% chance of not rain. So let's look at it in the positive. Saturday, periods of rain, high of 8. Sunday, showers, high of 6. Monday, chance of showers, high of 8, 60% chance of showers. Same thing for Tuesday. And then Wednesday, 30% chance of showers, high of 12. So that's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. We'll be back with more right after this. So I will tell you what we were going to be talking about today on the show. And by the way, sports segment, the Sudbury Wolves had their under 18 priority selection last night, and they picked up two really great prospects. And we'll have more about that on tomorrow's show in the sports segment. But for now, I want to let you know what I had for you that we no longer have, because it's just what worked yesterday doesn't work today. And I was really excited about today's videos that I had too, because one was Tucker Carlson's first public statement after being let go from Fox. And if you're not aware of that, Tucker Carlson was let go, not even allowed to say goodbye to his fans whatsoever, said on Friday, I'll see you on Monday. And then later, was on Monday afternoon, it was found out that he was no longer going to have a show on Fox. And so no one's really heard from him until yesterday. And did you have a chance to see that at all, Billy?
I did.
What were your impressions about it?
I should say I saw the last 3/4 of it. I think I missed the beginning of it.
It was only a 2 or 3 minute long video.
I thought it was 4 or 5, no?
The one I had was 2 or 3 minutes. I remember thinking, wow, that's a really quick little statement.
Yeah. Sounds like he's going to be back. He said, see you soon. That felt like
Yeah.
He's got something in mind.
Exactly. So I thought that would have been neat just to kind of hear it from the horse's mouth. And then afterwards, a really great breakdown from someone I've never really heard before, who gave a rant also of saying how he's been suppressed, how when he first started sharing his videos, he had 100,000, 200,000, and then 1 million views at a time. And then he just noticed recently that his views are going down and down and down, and his videos are not being shared. His subscribers are saying they're not seeing the fact that he's live when he's live, things that normally work for him. So he knows he's being targeted, and so he's pleading, just do guerrilla, share it with your friends. Just tell your friends, your immediate, people that you care about my videos, because that's the only way people are going to like. And even I know with mine, you, Billy, are still not showing up as someone who follows my page. You aren't. And neither are a lot of our viewers each and every day, the people that comment. You don't show up as a follower. Like whenever you like the video or whatever, I have something that shows whether someone's invited or they're following or whatever. And most of you just show up as you've been invited, but you didn't accept the invite. So you're not counting as a follower. So when it says I have 5,300 followers on my Facebook page, it means that the 15 or so live people that are on here, the 500 people that will watch it afterwards, you're not showing up as following as one of those followers. So if you were, how much more would we have? And I really have noticed that myself, but I thought, am I just, being conspiratorial or whatever, that Facebook are playing games with me in particular as as just a small fry guy from a little town in northern Ontario, but apparently.
Do you see that, the Elon Musk Twitter files, that clearly establishes that there was all these relationships between government and these big institutions to okay, silence that guy, take that guy off, take this guy's tweet off. So I don't think is there really any debate right now that the social, at least Twitter was doing that. So you could really easily transpose that to think, well, they've got these things going with Facebook. And I don't think that's argued anymore, really.
Well, Dave would correct you and say, well, that means we are contacting Twitter and we are contacting Facebook and trying to shut ourselves down because we're the government.
No, because there's algorithms,
okay.
And that's the thing with this technology. And actually, Tim Pool made a really good point about how people are being engineered through algorithms because it kind of sees what their dispositions are. So if you want to make somebody extremely anti-police, all you do is you throw more police beating videos into their timeline. So you could really, you don't need a person to sit there and engineer a false reality for everybody. You can sort of set basic algorithms, and it wouldn't be too hard to launch stuff on any time it detects, say, here's the hot words. We hear this. Okay, we're going to. You can do these little subtle, engineering and attacks, perhaps. So
for sure. And then Dave says, well, maybe those people like you aren't really following us, Billy. You're not really following the very
I'll have to
show that you're on.
Here. Yeah.
And you already did. We
sat down and we've actually compared. So
you showed me on your phone. It says you're following me, and the same thing with my wife. She is following me, but then when I look on my stats, you don't appear anywhere. And the only people that are starting to follow me are these ambiguous name people like Kashasha Ranodo from some country I've never heard of before. It says, oh, Kashasha Ranodo is following you. Or 7B7 is following you now. It's the only people that I see following me. It used to be John Smith from Sudbury who works at, Valet is following you. That's the way it used to be, just normal people. Because who the frig is interested in Sudbury news? 7B7 from
what a cool
Amsterdam.
Handle.
Yeah, I know, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are these? What? Like they're just bots or something? They're following me? It's just weird. Anyways, but Dave says maybe they aren't actually following me. So that's what.
Well, I think to our own personal satisfaction, we've been able to determine that no, definitely we can see that I've clicked follow here.
Good suggestion, though, Dave. I really appreciate that. I never thought of that, actually, to tell you the truth, that my wife actually wasn't following me. So I went to check on it, and she is, and then she's not actually on my side. So the numbers are skewed, right? Because if someone comes to our page and goes, they only got 5,000 followers. Look at Sudbury.com's got 20, 30,000. So that's real, because they got more followers. And you definitely do know that's a thing. Because if I shared a video with you and says only 5 people viewed it, what does that say to you?
Yeah. Well, the Ash conformity experiment where you see like one line is longer than the other, and they get the people to say, they're all sort of stooges in on the experiment. And if they say line B is longer than line A, when it gets to that last person, they are sort of pressured, or they want to be with the crowd. So I think that's why, it's very important for people who have power and want to kind of manage public perception.
For sure.
That if they create a perception that this is what people like, then they tend to get people to just sort of go along out of...
You just described our whole entertainment industry these days.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So Tracy says her Facebook says liked, but there's no follow option. And Vin, I guess to my point, prove maybe to Dave, who's an unbeliever at this point, I no longer get the notification you're live until after I leave. So that's interesting, right? Like, why would you want to see a live after the live's done? Like, that doesn't even really make any sense, right? So something's up there. Maybe Facebook's just broken and they need to fix it. I don't know. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm just hearing what I'm hearing. So good morning, Dennis from London. Yes, and a few of you have joined on. I know I wanted to give a shout out. Good morning to Julia. Good morning, Diane, Aaron, and Billy. Bon matin. There's been a few others here. Brian, Sudbury Campers, good morning. Thanks for being with us. And I know there was more. Yes, Denise, good morning, everyone. And I think I got you all there. If not, it's not anything I've done on purpose. I tell you for sure. There is no following option. That's what Julie says. So is that a true thing? Once you like, does that mean follow as well if you just like a page? Or do you need to follow?
I don't know. We sort of, we really tried to investigate that once.
Yeah.
And one of us, I think, because we checked with a few pages and some people have different options.
Yeah.
So like I don't think I had a follow. I think I just had a like option. Mm-hmm. But we noticed like some people had a like and option, or like and follow. So
Denise says she does get a notification when I'm on, so that's good, or when we are on. Dennis is crying or laughing. I can't really tell what he's doing here. I think it's crying. Tracy says, yes, they are bots. Okay, more than we like to think, for sure. Claire, I follow you and get notifications when you're on. That's great to hear. The following button is tied to the individual's Facebook privacy settings. Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Excellent.
Much appreciated. Dennis, my buddy says, hi to, his name's Rob. Can I say hi to Rob? I guess you just did. For sure. Yeah, we just said hi to Rob. Yes, can I say yes, for sure. Good morning, Jerome, the dynamic duo. Thank you. Appreciate it. I remember he coined that phrase back in the day.
Yeah.
The dynamic duo.
Love it.
All right. So Julia says, yes, she does also. So I guess there's just, maybe it's in the settings. Well, this is how you think there's nefarious things going on, and there are. So if I'm at Facebook and I don't like what a lot of people are on my platform saying, it's kind of like it's my house. I made it. That's Facebook. And people are in my house saying things I don't really like. What do I do about that? Well, just don't tell them what time dinner is at or whatever. Then they won't know to come at that time or whatever. Stuff like that. So they do things in the background. Let's just make everyone's privacy settings they have to go in later and or whatever and change it. They just change it and you don't realize it. It worked a certain way one time. And then they go, well, we just changed the way it worked. We weren't trying to shut down anybody. We just changed the way Facebook works, like the videos today. They just changed the way they work. I had all these videos lined up with links, and the links don't work anymore. They just go to a general page. Well, we didn't do anything wrong. Like, we just, it was just as an update on Facebook or whatever. And I have to go in and figure it out and change the way everything works in the back end. And So, yeah, no, but I do hear a lot of this from other independent media. And if everybody is saying something, if everyone's sitting in a room going, do you smell that? Yeah, I smell that. Do you smell that? Of course I smell something. Something smells. And everybody is saying it. And one person walks in the room and goes, I don't smell anything. But again,
the one that dealt it.
Yeah, exactly. Or I can't smell things. My nose doesn't work anymore, right? So if you have enough people saying what's going on, there's something going on. Anyways, it is what it is. But if you don't follow these particular people in the media, you won't hear it, right? So if you're just hearing me give my take my word for it, there's thousands of alternative voice media out there that are saying this is happening to them. Thousands, literally. Do you hear the same thing, Billy? Do you ever hear like an alternative media voice person say they feel targeted in social media in some way, shape, or form?
Almost uniformly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm not just hearing it myself. And this was one of the videos I was going to share today. So I was going to share the one guy talking about he's feeling this is happening to him. First time I've seen him ever. He says it's a miracle if you're seeing my video, which was a miracle. But my kind of viewing is very kind of niche anyways. And so I could see why Facebook would have dealt him to me. Going to put us all in one basket so we can all cry together and make all the other people say, oh, all those guys crying about how everything's always against them all the time. I don't find anything against me. I don't smell anything. So anyways, so then he goes on to really concisely talk about what's going on with Bill C-11, Bill C-10, Bill C-18, I believe, all these bills in Canada and how it's happening all over the world. And the firing of Tucker Carlson and Dan Bongino, Don Lemon has nothing to do with it, but he's fired anyways too. But what's going on in media and how alternative media is getting shut down. They're all getting canceled. Matt Walsh was canceled. You know that, right? Off Facebook. Matt Walsh, are you familiar with who that is? Mm-hmm. He was canceled. So you can no longer get him. A bunch of other people deplatformed. AOC is asking for Tucker to be deplatformed even before he gets out of the gate. Wherever he tries to pop up, deplatform him everywhere kind of thing. They love to deplatform. They love to cancel everybody. Oh, you didn't say what I agree with? Cancel you. Cancel. So this guy's video was it totally explained the whole lay of the land. Wanted to play that. And then at the end, Glenn Beck, I wanted to play a video of him talking about how the term conspiracy theory, how that was introduced into the ethos of people's, of the world, and what that has done. When you come out and you out somebody and you say, oh, I have the smoking gun of what just happened behind here. And all they have to do in unison, all the people that are in on it. So governments, the elected officials we elect to represent us, not us. Government meaning the people who are paid and they go to meetings every day and they go into the debates and everything to represent us. That government, the government that's making policies, not the government that's the people. Them and big tech and media all kind of in one voice say conspiracy theory. They say that, oh, no, that's a conspiracy theory. So Glenn Beck did a really great job in showing, I think, 4 large news stories. One was the Wuhan lab leak. And then I was going to show the Jon Stewart video along with it, how Jon Stewart, which again, the masses obviously accept Jon Stewart. He himself at the beginning said, duh, it's a Wuhan lab leak. That's where the coronavirus came from. Duh. Well, the media, mainstream media, just even now is saying, you know what? There are some indications that look like it could be a lab leak from Wuhan 3 years later. But at the time they're saying conspiracy theory, and they would deplatform anybody who said that it could have come from Wuhan. Totally. And he's showing all the news clips. So that's, for anyone who disbelieves that goes on in our mainstream media, and they're all complicit in it. Big government, big tech, big media, they all together in one voice beat the drum, bum, 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 bum. And that they're all saying the exact same thing. So they shut that down. They took people off. They canceled them when they said it could have been a lab leak. Anyone who's going against the main narrative that was trying to be put out there by government, by pharmaceutical companies, by the people that stood to benefit from what was going to be coming out. Definitely. So the racist term was used as well. You're racist if you say that it could have been that, but this is what it does. It shuts down journalism. So Glenn Beck was showing how this whole conspiracy theory wording, really great to be used for people that want to get away with things, shuts down the actual art of asking questions to get to the bottom of things, to get to the truth. Because if you say, well, where did we first hear about the virus? Well, it was from that the food place just down the street from the lab, but it wasn't the lab that was actually formulating. Though, yeah, the coronavirus was in the lab, but it didn't leak. It actually just came naturally into, what was it, a pangolin at the time they were saying? Some meat market, some food market in Wuhan. But it had nothing to do with the lab that was called the Coronavirus Lab Technology of Wuhan or something. That was Jon Stewart kind of alluded to that. So that was one thing right there. And then you had the Hunter Biden laptop. Right during the election, that would have possibly swung the election and people wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden because his son, basically, if they would have found out what was on that laptop. So right away, conspiracy theory. The New York Post Twitter page was actually taken off Twitter. They were the ones who broke the story. They took it off of Twitter after someone from government, not the people, government, the people voted in that then do whatever they want, government, talked to Twitter and said, take them off now. Correct or no?
Sounds right.
Is this what you found too? The same kind of thing that actually happened? Or am I just on another planet?
Yeah, no. I think it seems like it's just been getting thicker and thicker. It's piling it on, and it almost, to me, it feels like a cosmic experiment. Like, all right, how much are you going to buy into this? Until you tap out. And there's one of my favorite documentaries. It's called King of Kong, about the Donkey Kong high score.
Cool.
But there's one guy. He's got an entourage, and he's like the cool guy, and he's like the champ. And this newcomer comes in, and anyway beats his high score, and then this whole rivalry ensues. But over time of the documentary, you see this interview, and his entourage, who's cheering for him, kind of gets smaller and smaller because he keeps sort of resorting to dirty tactics. And you can just see this other guy's just like a straight shooter. He goes in, he plays the game, and this other guy's cheating, and he's doing all kinds of stuff. And eventually, that whole entourage ends up, leaving that former champ, except like the last interview at the end, he's got one guy who's sitting there wondering why he's sitting next to this guy. And I look around in my circles, and I see that there's that phrase, the Great Awakening. It feels like there's some truth to that, where people are like, whoa, that's not what I thought was happening at all, or that's not what I thought the media was, that's not what I thought government was.
Exactly. No, you just pegged it. And a lot of comments coming through, but Julie is asking who Matt Walsh is. So Matt Walsh was part of the Daily Wire.
He's some conservative talking head, as far as I know.
He's actually, publicly, he announced he is gay, a gay man, but went against the narrative that anyone can just believe whatever they are, and it then needs to be legally enforced, and everyone has to, all of the backlash for that. He's gay himself and took offense to the movement that's going on, the LGBTQAI plus. Is that what it is now? Okay,
something like that.
So the movement that's going on in our mainstream that wants to define who we are by our sexual preferences and whatever. And Matt Walsh took that to as a challenge. He actually went to Africa and he spoke to a tribe over there just to see, like, someone who wasn't affected by media. And he talked to the tribal leader. And he says, now, what if one of your tribe, one of the males wants to believe he's a female? What do you do in that case? And the tribal leader, guess what his reaction was when he said, no, what if one of your male people in your tribe believes they're a female and they actually believe that? Guess what his reaction was, the leader of the tribe?
If you're asking me, I would say he's okay with that.
He laughed. The tribal leader laughed and he said, no, that would never happen. He said, if one of your male people in your tribe were to believe that they were female, and, you know, he laughed and he said that would never, ever happen, because everything in their tribe depends on survival. And the way you're born with certain attributes and things like that. And you're meant, your body's stronger than, you know, physically, biologically. If you're born a male, you're stronger. You're meant for hunting. You're going to go. But if this person wanted to say, no, I want to be a female and go with the female or whatever, that just wouldn't happen, because it's all down to the bare bones of survival and whatever. So he just wanted to get, anyways, he didn't even know what the tribal leader was going to say. He just went there to kind of, I guess, just, and it proved his point that it's all kind of indoctrination. It's not anything other than that. It's not natural, because people are saying, oh, this has been around for centuries. It's totally natural to just whatever you believe you are. Like if I wanted to believe I was warm, because that's the way that it goes. I want to believe I'm warm, and I go in a snowstorm with no clothes on, but I believe I am warm. And I believe it with all my might. I was born warm. I am warm. I'm everything that identifies as warm. And I go out into a snowstorm naked at 30 below zero. What happens to me, Billy?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of on the other side of this. I think people who...
Well, you didn't answer my question. You got to answer my question first, and then you can go on. So what happens to me if I believe I'm
some
warm?
Some Tibetan tribes that can stay out in the cold without any,
Really?
mind
30,
over matter. Yeah.
30 below,
Yes.
Naked? Out. Well, what would happen to me if I
Possibly.
believed I was warm?
Well, you would probably...
Good luck.
You'd probably freeze.
Exactly. Right. So again, there's some kinds of natural laws that even though we believe certain things, it doesn't matter. But now we're creating laws and things that protect what people believe regardless of what they believe. And then you could be arrested for not going along with, if I believed I'm warm and I'm outside.
Those are two separate issues. I think anybody can believe what they want to believe.
Sure.
And that's freedom. But yeah, you can't arrest somebody for not believing what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's where, I'm like personally like very supportive of like that movement. Like basically just everybody, if you've got whatever your life, wants to kind of explore, that's fine. But I think the danger is that, we've seen this in history before, where if you sort of start to infringe on, say, other people and demand that other people, see it this way, and we're going to construct society, and they're going to have to live your way.
Yeah.
You're going to get a blowback. This pendulum swing is, some of these people you think are your allies might not be your allies, and actually people like Matt Walsh, who's just trying to keep let's have a conservative, let's not swing this thing too fast and hard.
Yeah, exactly. So Dave is saying, so on one show, we have COVID not being a real thing, and then we have it coming from a lab. Do you want to take that?
I don't know.
Do you remember? Do you ever remember a show that we had that we said COVID's not a real thing?
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
No, but I've heard that idea that it's not what people, what the
It's
medical establishment says that it is.
I'll give it that. It's not what we've been told. Hence the whole where it came from thing, right? It's a weaponized cold. Can I just break it down to that or not?
Again, I would leave it on a spectrum, like what I don't know 100% for sure either way. So,
and it was human created. It was gain of function research created in a lab and leaked out on purpose or not, don't know, but that's where it came from. And and it just like influenza is out there, it can kill people just like COVID can kill people. But we didn't lock the whole world down for influenza or anything like it. And if you look at the numbers, COVID influenza numbers, exactly the same across the board everywhere for deaths. Take that to the bank. You can do your own research on that one. But anyways, you would have heard something different through the last 3 years through mainstream media, though. Definitely would have. But again, it's up to you to do that research, Dave. You got to, if you care about it. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to. Tom says, all aboard, last train to Sudbury at 4 p.m. There you go. Okay, government and COVID is the greatest orchestrated die-off in the history of the world. And so we got all kind we're just going everywhere today. And that's the thing. I had a very concise planned show with the videos to take it. Now I'm explaining what the show, what the videos were going to entail. And that really, again, right? So it's like, oh, where did you get that from? How do you know this? It's like, okay, yeah, I would have just showed the videos and then I could comment on what they said. Good morning, Wade. I hope you're having a good time, Wade, on the show. Pass it on undercoating. Get your car undercoated before winter. Anytime before winter. The best is when it's dry out. Yeah, different laws in Africa against the law to be gay or wanting a sex change. Oh, yeah. So never even talked about that in some of the African countries. Modern ones, they actually, you could face the death penalty as well. If you choose to live an alternate lifestyle like that, which I don't agree with. I think, again, this is what I think. If you want to be what you want to be and you believe it, I really think that's a great idea. I think you believe it. We are on the same page with that, right? Mm-hmm. So I have no problem with that. I think if you want to be anything you want to be or you believe it, I think that's great. However, if you want to change the laws of the country I live in order to demonize me, if I share my point of view and say, I don't think that if you identify as warm and you go out into a snowstorm, it's going to be very well for you. Just me saying that could get me arrested. I don't want that. I'd rather not have that. That's what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like we're changing our laws and we're changing even the social construct of the way people are, just fighting amongst each other about these types of things.
Yeah.
Well,
the big issue is children come into the equation. So it's like, there's people on this side saying, no, you're harming them if you don't, change their sex at an early age. And some people are like, children are easily confused and manipulated. And, and I'd have to say, man, if I was, that whole period when I was a kid, thank God there wasn't, one, laws like that. And two, if I had, authority figures like teachers and stuff kind of implying that I should be a certain way, I'm very easily malleable to go in that direction.
For sure.
I could have made some big mistakes.
Definitely. So many great comments coming in. Really appreciate your comments. So here's coming from one of our veterans who served for our country. He says he agrees COVID is a bioweapon. Whatever that's worth. Who cares about all the gay BS? That's Tom. That's where a lot of people are at right now too. They've just been bombarded with all kinds of stuff. But now Stephen's saying that I'm getting into a dangerous spot by saying what's natural and what's not natural.
It's hard to say. Yeah. I don't think, I don't know if science will ever be at that point.
Yep.
To say what's natural and what's not.
Yeah, to have a biologist on the show would be good too, right? If, what biology, someone who studies it for a living. What I've seen, though, in mainstream is that biology and biologists have been demonized as well, canceled for saying certain things that they've learned in their practices of saying what they, as their professional point of view, is natural, let's say, that there's only two genders that are born, and then the odd time, which I even have a possibility of one of my own children who has since passed away, there was a possibility that there could have been a duality there in terms of the chromosomes, but that is so very rare. It's mostly just the male and female chromosomes, if you break it down to science, so natural, that's what I'm talking about, it being natural or not. Or if I was naked and went out into a snowstorm, so nature itself, like how cold, so 30 below is something measurable, and my body, how long it can stay out in the cold, that's what I'm talking about as being natural or not.
Abstract hypothetical here.
Yeah.
100 years from now, it's totally established that reincarnation is a thing. The science of it's broken down. Somebody who's been a female for their past 15 incarnations is now born a man for the first time in a long time. And they're like, man, I feel like a woman.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, in that kind of situation, you could kind of appreciate that, okay, well, they might be very uncomfortable in a man's body. And they might want to wear a dress.
Yeah. Now, numbers. Do you want to give numbers? Because Dave's saying many people died from COVID. And how do you know those were accurate numbers? But seriously, if you're killing your friends, do you actually think the cure is important or where it came from?
Well, my question would be, was it COVID fudging of the deaths, labeling flu deaths, or was it, remdesivir and ventilators?
Mm-hmm. So all kinds of great comments coming in here, guys. Keep them, and again, controversial subject. I wish I would have just had videos because then I wouldn't have to sit there and try and explain these things. But Facebook had other plans today. On purpose or not, it's just I have no idea whatsoever what happened there. There was a great show planned for everybody, but it just became a great discussion, I guess you can say. And I do need to learn, and I'm learning on the fly how to articulate, period. And being called out on being what I'm saying is a good way to get good at being able to articulate thoughts and feelings. And what I have learned through my experience and what I know to be true, right? And then others can come in and counter that, which I think is what we're doing here. And I think that's healthy. And I think this is what we need more of in this country, in this world, is being able to share your point of view and have somebody else say something else on it. And maybe your blood gets pumping a bit. You're like, blah, 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 blah. Your blood is like, how dare that person say oh, wait a minute. They didn't actually mean it. Oh, okay. You didn't actually mean what I thought you said in the way I thought you said. Oh, okay. I get it now. I kind of see what you're saying. I don't agree with it at all, but I kind of see where you're getting that from. I see what you're saying. That's, I think, the end goal of what we're doing here, right or no?
Yeah, no, and I like the, like the Facebook format, Facebook.
We'll start our new platform.
Yeah, and I'm really slow to respond in those because of those two elements. It's like, okay, don't, you've had those sort of flame wars before, where it's like, don't respond right away. You gotta think this out. Think about the question. And that's the problem with live stuff. It's like instant,
I know.
If it's like it hits you, you got to respond or look stupid. And, it's a dangerous,
for sure.
It's a dangerous thing.
Yeah. And I think all the comments coming up here, whether you're,
so you're doing great.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm trying. I do know I'm doing great at trying. I know that much for sure. Absolutely. And hopefully we'll be able to continue trying and doing this. Like I'm working out lately. So I've been working out for the last 3 months and I do it every single day and I'm religious about it. And I know in 7 months, I'm halfway there. In 7 months, I'm going to look the way I intended with the goal. The goal was to look a certain way. It's going to take me 7 months to do that. And so the same thing with the show. I want to give myself some time. I don't know the time frame it will take in order to articulate something to the point where someone will take offense at what I say and be able to just share something without someone being offended by it. But I want to get to that point where I'm at least able to share information and be able to share it in a way that's palatable and have a discussion with people that don't agree and be able to have it in a respectful way. And so thank you very much for whatever side of the fence of whatever, you're on, you're still here Like, and that's the great thing, right? So we really appreciate all of you today, regardless of what's going on out there, that we're still able to be respectful. We're all Canadian, I believe, or we want to be, or we're interested in it, and we really want to understand the world we're living in, whether it's in our own backyard or abroad. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on today. And thank you very much, Dennis. And thanks for coming on from London and checking in with your hometown. Really appreciate it. And all you all around the world, we really appreciate you. It was a great conversation today. We didn't really get to much news. We talked about what the show was supposed to be about, and that's about it. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM, and we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, as far as we know. Okay, have a great one, everyone. Ciao.
Cheers.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.